Hello and welcome back to another day in 400 Days of Longing. This is calendar day 2 for me. It's now got down to 398 days-ish. Just having a look through the thoughts and so he is adjusting these to sit there and then say slight updates. We've seen a little bit. So in our last video we walked through oh good, we've actually got 2 flint, 8 coal and that kind of stuff. It tells us those as well. Excellent. Right. No, let's close this. So the plan for today is to wander out and get more instrument. So there's 2 little bits of instrument here. And we need 4 total. So I'm going to go back to the place where we found that little bit of instrument. I'm going to hope that that indicates that path is going to be the thing that completes the instrument. But either way, it's going to add to our map of what we've seen. So it all needs to get done eventually. I'm not going to try and awaken the king until the 400's up. I'm sure it's just going to tell me to bugger off basically. But again, the coal just doesn't last long enough. My guy's so slow, the coal just withers into nothing before I even get there a chance to pick it up. And then first episode, give you a little incidental fact that I just kind of happened to know, which I then put a proper article down to clarify a bit more of. It turns out it's a bit far out. It's like, oh right, it's going to take decades to finish it. Actually, it'll take 640 years to finish that song. And what I'll probably do is in each of these videos at some point include something about speed, time, you know, the longest of something, the quickest of something like that. So we'll probably include one of these in each video. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle if this does last 400 days, continue to find new and, I was going to say uninteresting, I'm not going to hold myself to interesting, new things to learn. Because I started on a church organ playing for 640 years. You know, to then hold myself to be interesting for the rest of them seems counterintuitive, right? My first example wasn't the most interesting thing in the world. So, don't see why I should make the rest of them really interesting. I can see why he likes these stairs. I'm really glad that this door stays open. That was excruciating. Right, so this is everything up until then has been one option, right? So this is the first time I've got 3 options. So I'm going to have 3 different maps, I think. I'm going to have this sort of left, a middle, and then a right door. It's going to be the first branch of my map. So I'm going to explore the left a bunch. Then I'm going to proceed to the right, to the middle, and then the right. I think this is kind of a sensible following of the kind of the subtle hint that's been produced by the game developers, because they've specifically put a block. So the room obviously started out as original, if you like. So the room started out and originally as just 3, which you could equally easily get to. But obviously the path that would have been quickest, that makes the right equal distance to the left to you, is broken. So actually, even though it looks like that there's kind of, you know, 2 are equal and then 1 at the top, the developers are kind of sending a subconscious signal to you that there is an order to this, and it's left, middle, right. Okay. I think the left took me through to like a corridor room, which we also went left in. But it's kind of like a high-low passage. So there's then a top and a bottom for this.
this is really the right door of the bottom passage.
And this was the room where we picked up the music instrument part. My hope is that by continuing down this path, I might get the rest of my musical instrument, and then I've actually succeeded in something. So slow, come on. I'm gonna have to get over that because I'm gonna be doing this a lot. Okay, so it looks like there's a bottom, middle, top path here.
So I'm going to record that as me going through the bottom.
That might turn later on into first, second, third, fourth, or however many floors there are on here, whatever. I'm going to need to...
Ah, okay. So that leads back down to this room.
Okay.
Right, so let's try the middle. This is why you really want a map.
It's for things like that. Stuff like that used to happen in these text adventures where you used to explore caves and that kind of thing. Ah, please make this door not be as slow as the old one.
One disappointment. Okay, so the middle row would go to the library. It's blocked from the other side. Okay, blocked other side. So I need to get to the library from the other direction.
What's to get that? So let's try the top. So my map's already filling out much more by following this path than it did the last one, which was, you know, linear until I hit some kind of block where I needed... Oh, that might be a colouring crayon for my... It's weird, like I said last time, this game's so slow paced that you see like a tiny little icon that normally you wouldn't even give a second thought in another game. Piece of clay, red colour, excellent. In a normal game, you're like, yeah, whatever, it's just like a pickup. Because it's so slow and you're so deprived of stimulation, it becomes more interesting and more engaging just by virtue of having anything else to do. Okay, so I went to the bottom there. I can only go through the bottom here, but you can see in the background a little hint that that's another part of my...
Right, so that's Warm and Beautiful Cave.
Okay. I'm putting some little notes so that my map becomes less of a tree diagram and more of eventually a proper map. Oh God. Right. Just gonna look through this. So I need to go through something which is going to lead back up. So I don't think I want to go down.
Let's go top right.
Right. Oh, what's that? It's like a plank. Excellent. Bed materials. That was higher than where I was and heading up. So I'm going to try this one. Okay, let's try going higher. I'll go to the right. One of the things I'm noticing in my map is that I'm not recording what door it appears like I come in from. That's something I'm going to have to consider doing next time. What is this? Is this a map? Is this something I can draw on with my paper to learn? Coming to show a rather crude map of the kingdom. It would take some time to decipher it. Can I? Will you let me do it? Okay, it's got a little thing here saying investigate. Okay. I might need to draw that myself. That's useful. So let's call that map room. Okay, I'm going out the top exit again. Right at the top. These stairs should lead to the caves beyond the Earthen Palace. Don't think the king would like it if I ventured out there. Okay, well if that's the way out, the king doesn't want me to go out that way. And let's behave this time round. I do what the king wants for now. Until we're given a reason to disobey. Right. So that's 2 Earthen Palace. Forbidden. Okay, so let's go out the right. Let's see if I can just make out where I am in this and where the... So that looks like my little hole. I would interpret that to be the kingdom, the king. On the left is that corridor with the broken, with the glass. So that is literally the path left. So that's probably the first door, second door, etc. And so yeah, this is actually... That's the 3 rooms that I went into before. So this, I think, provides the core of some of the map. Just the first bit. So I reckon if I came out and then I went through the rightmost door, I'd end up in this crystal area. Obviously, this isn't every single room in the game. This is like the initial parts, right? Let's try going right here and see where that takes us. Come on. So slow. Cool. So going right out of the map room and we're descending down. Because with 400 playable days, from time to time, solitude can be a good thing. Wow, we get it all the time, my friend. Let's go through the left door. So that's the top, middle, bottom room, right? So have I done a circle here? Okay, I think I'm seeing some interconnections between this. However, that is immediately ballsed up my map. I'm just going to go down this bottom one for now.
That's one thing where I wrote top middle. There, maybe? Question mark. Yeah, right. And bottom.
Now, an interconnected map is actually smaller and more compact, but harder to figure out. I think this might be the first day when I get hopelessly lost. I wonder how big these caves really are. I'm wondering the same thing. I don't know whether I'm actually performing a kind of loop around backtrack at the moment. No. So here's like a treasure room.
Okay, let's call that treasure room.
Yeah, so I might be able to get the riches using a mattock. And that clue, that map had a picture of a pick in one of the mines. So I think that map's giving me a clue to where the mattock is. Is it chalk? Paint the pale moon that will reign forever enshrouded. Interesting.
Out the treasure room, I went left.
Ah, and now I'm on the right hand side. Okay, so I don't think these caves are ridiculous. I can use the mattock there. That's the colourful crystals we're talking about.
Okay, let's do a separate one. This is coming out through the middle entrance.
Now, if I remember correctly, the pick was slightly up and to the right of the main map.
So I'm going to try taking the rightmost door. We call them 1 through 5.
I'm assuming that this is mirrored. Okay, so I think this helps lead me back, right? If I go this way, I'm going to say I'm slowly winding my way back to the map room. And my ability to navigate in open fields has been pretty good. You did orienteering at school and that kind of stuff. But my ability to navigate closed rooms historically has been appalling. Right.
So if we call that the treasure room, yeah, okay, so we come here. This is the 3 places that you can go, left, right, and both. Left, this is actually the other place that we found. This is the corridor with the glass, not this. So if we went for the corridor with glass and then went down, we would eventually find this. these other two routes. One of them was obviously blocked off, the leftmost route. That was where we explored on day one. I really want to just draw this. Let me draw it. It doesn't take time to decipher it. Just draw it. Take a picture of it. Okay, so if I wanted to have those 3 doors, I want to kind of come up. That's the 5 doors that we saw, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to kind of come up again from there, which might entail going left and then up, or maybe just up through the left or up through the right. And then I want to make it over to the right hand side, because I really want the mattock, I think. Okay, take me up here. I'm going to make my own version of this map, and I'm going to concrete out between these landmarks, I think. So this is the bit where it said that we didn't think you'd want us to go there. I think we need to go up here in order to get to the mattock. You know, we just won't tell him. He's asleep. You know, what he doesn't know can't hurt him, can it? He's awesome. Fine stairs. At least the equal of the stairs that we were admiring at the beginning of the game. Got kind of a pleasant irregularity to them. Okay, well that's the way out, which we're definitely not going to do, but that is another the exit of the planet. I'm allowed to explore other parts of the kingdom, but I should be careful. Let's finish the caves first. Yeah, let's do this Palace of the King. It's our first thing to get properly explored out. So I'm not going to enter that yet. Right, so I only need one more instrument part now. And that's the one that we could see in the background on some stairs in the other part of the building. Still a big part of your company, so I made this game. I'm just going to give him a bit of a happiness because he was terrible at climbing last time. Yay, he made it. Right, that gives me an idea of what he's capable of, which is pretty pants. I'm in two minds now whether because I think next time I'm going to have to draw that map out just as the landmarks, and then I'm going to fill out the different routes that you can use to get between the two. But I really do want to see whether I can grab get one last item before we wrap this video up and I have to try and find my way home. The interconnectedness of the caves does at least give me some confidence that while I'm wandering around in here, inside this palace, that even if I do get lost, but the act of wandering around will bring me back to a landmark that I've probably seen by now. So I've gone out the left door, wandered around, and then ended up wandering back into the right door, so it can't be that bad, can it? So that's where I just was. It says over here that there's actually the mattock. That's like my holy grail at the moment. That's like my ultimate quest, I think. So last time I went down this way, I ended up in the treasure room and then coming back out here. Come on, this way. So yeah, last time I went through here, I went to the right. I think that brings me into this room. I went to the furthest right, which got me here. So I'm going to go second furthest right and hope that brings me to the mattock. Almost like that goes down and that goes up. That's my hope. Let's just try it up here for a second. And right. Oh, I got myself totally turned around, haven't I? This is going to be the reason why the map eventually is going to pay off big time. I don't think I've ever used or come out of this door. The mattock's up high, but I'm going to need... That might have the same solvability thing that the climb that we couldn't do earlier has. I'm wondering whether that jump is too exciting for my taste. I better wait for that stalactite to come down first. Oh my god. In a week of real time, that's going to collapse and I can walk up it. So that area is inaccessible for the first week. What are the chances that's the mattock? Okay, let's come here. I can see something else there which I'm going to grab. I assume that bottom left doorway is going to slowly take me home. I like the smell of earth. That's a nice way of playing with that timer. So you actually have to wait a real-time week. Sheet of paper useful for my art studies. I wonder where it came from. Okay, so the arts are consumables for that. I wanted pictures of lice. But I can also now draw a picture of the moon, so I don't know whether to go for lice first. Well, the moon first. This is getting a bit tight in terms of headroom, isn't it? This is my last little bit of exploration before I head back to the main room. Wish I had someone to talk to, but I can still talk to myself after all. Just need to sit down for a while and sort out my thoughts. Properly subterranean now, isn't it? I push right.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that, because the Matics obviously used to do things like expand the bedroom and do a series of the things like getting the coloured crystals, etc. I mean, they're going to have to figure out ways of making sure that you couldn't just spend 24 hours on the game playing non-stop and do everything that you could do, because that does kind of make the 400-day wait pointless. Oh dear. Much like this stroll, I think. What's down here then? There's a mattock. There's moss growing down there. Better wait till there is enough to guarantee a soft landing. I guess that'll be about 2 weeks. So that first week thing is not the mattock then. The 2 week thing is the mattock, because that's the mattock right there. Oh, this game. There's 2 paths now that I definitely can't get to until a period of time has gone by. And it's quite possible that those, if you think about it, those ones could then lead on to other things, which are like, in a month's time this is going to happen, this is going to take 3 months, etc. So I guess actually you better take pace the life of a shade quite sensibly, because if it's going to be 2 weeks before I can get into anything more serious, maybe sitting down and going through Moby Dick audio book for you guys is going to be what's left to do. There's more down and to the right. I can't tell whether this is a door or the end of a passage. That's a door. Part of me wants to keep going down, but then the other part of me is thinking, this is ridiculous. We need to be working our way back to the left and back home. Is that we can go up there. Let's try that. It's exciting. Yes! We're getting our instrument after all. Okay, wow. Our first little quest item thing is going to be going home and playing some music. God, I didn't even notice that that was a little side off. And straight up that whole time. Loneliness is real. Yeah, I totally turned around now. Let's just see where this takes us. Got to get back to our cave so we can play some glorious music. Right, okay, good. So that's the library which we can't get to. Because we need to come at it from the other side. We need to come at it from further left. So this route to the right, I think, is what takes me back home, or is it further down? Where did we come in here? Let's try further down. Sometimes the little double click to move thing, because you got to click and hold to just wander him in a direction, then a double click to get him all the way somewhere, and you kind of need to do the double click to select what path you're going on. And sometimes it doesn't quite decide to go where I want it to go. Misbehaving little shade. Now, in order to get here, we would have been heading left, right? It's weird, I feel like my brain's making a spatial map of this out of a mix of instinct and being wrong. So, so we could just be wandering around these holes for some months. Excellent, good. Right, that is correct, because now this is that kind of top-bottom room. You can go in through the bottom, go up, and then through that door, and you come in through the right. This one's nearly a trick to make you feel like that there's a split, but it's just the same place on 2 levels almost. And this kind of thing just makes you panic about how big an area you might actually be in. Excellent. And this is the place next to, this is the glass corridor room that's next to the kind of first 3 doors that's above the throne room. Getting there, slowly, slowly getting there. Don't dissolve, Cole, I really want you. Gotcha. Nearly got enough for another 3 fires. Nah. That one didn't make it. Too slow. Right, so that's interesting that this tree does actually kind of put you into like a branching labyrinth almost, of like a left section, a top section, a right section, but the whole thing is interconnected. So it's not like I go that way and there's a huge web of stuff to my right that never meets this stuff here or that stuff there. So that's useful to know. Let the music play. I wonder whether he's going to be so terrible at music that it's going to be another one of his disappointments. And we are home. Throne of the Ancient King. I have a feeling this might not be a terrible video series to use to sleep, especially when it gets really long. There's like 200 episodes. You just put it on a playlist and sleep for a month. And wake up and it's still sodding going. See, this is what avoiding, you know, it's getting yourself in lockdowns and that kind of stuff leads to this. I think we'll reward him by playing a little bit of music, and we will call that a day. Yeah, look at that. It's got a proper little tin saxophone thing.
Okay, that's bad. If that's not in his disappointment spoke, that needs to go in his disappointment spoke. Okay, with that horrible, discordant, terrible note, I got 400 days, so 300 odd days to another Symphony for the Ages. I got a bunch of days to get better at that, right? I'm not going to force you to watch me practice, because that seems cruel even for me. What I might do is learn a tune, then play it for you at the end before we awaken the king. Let's make a fire. It's got to be a regular fire. As always, we shall leave him in a pathetic state, sitting and staring straight ahead. Okay, well, another day of suffering is complete. I'll see you tomorrow for the next one.